It's a very good evening to you, Masakekana, and indeed, as you say, a memorial service. In fact, this was the official memorial service held by the ANC. We have seen many taking place, including that one which was held in Pinetown here in KZN. Of course, today, government also holding a memorial service in honor of Nathi Mthethwa. Well, here at Empangeni, this is the center, the city center, City Hall, I should put it. This is where the ANC was holding its official memorial service, and here to speak on behalf of the party at a national level was Mahlengi Bhengu, who delivered the speech on behalf of the ANC. Well, she's actually right next to me, so we're going to reflect on some of what she's had to say tonight. And Ms. Bhengu, good evening to you. Thank you very much for your time. Can I start with part of what you observed today as you reflected in that speech, that it was quite a sad moment when you watched the immediate family along with the Mthethwa elders receiving the remains of their child, and you went in some detail around that. Tell us what that evoked for you, that moment when the remains of Nathi Mthethwa finally touched home.
Thank you, Xoli. I think just the brevity of life, excuse me, the brevity of life itself and how important it is to really live meaningfully and live to the fullest, but more importantly, to have something that we leave behind. Today we spoke about the contributions made by our comrade Nathi Mthethwa, his contributions at an international, at a geopolitical level, his extremely successful tenure for the time that he's been in France, looking at a lot of diplomatic work that he had done, looking at a lot of work in the area of investment facilitation that he had done. Just recently, the Deputy President had led a delegation to France looking at exploring further trade and cooperative relationships in that space. We spoke about his role as a political educator within the African National Congress. A number of young people, those younger to him, can attest about the amount of work that he did. One of those people that did the work that gave birth to the present day OR Tambo School of Leadership. We spoke about his connections, connectedness to his culture, to his people, to his roots. And many people continue to testify about that.
Indeed, and much of the speakers before you talking about his involvement in the early days of his political career. He was part of Operation Vula, working under people such as Mac Maharaj, Spiwe Nyanda, that were leading that particular operation. But I'd like us to bring this conversation closer to Sunday, if we can. And part of why I want us to do that is that there has been this almost an open wound, if we could call it that. Do you think by now there is closure and there is acceptance that the late ambassador is no longer with us because, as the French authorities have said, he decided to end his own life? Do you think that there is going to be an acceptance of that now, or are there going to still be investigations that are awaited to come from France?
Well, we still await, I think, as a nation and as the ANC, I would like to think that the family too, we still await, I'd say, the view of the South African government. Of course, this work is being done in cooperation with French authorities. I think that it will be very premature for a sense of closure to even be experienced by many, because the nature of this death is too brutal. And I think that it's early days still. What is heartening, though, is that the family is coming to grips with this reality, coming to terms, painful as it is. And it was quite heartening to see how both the Buthelezi and the Mthethwa families working very closely together, supporting one another, led by the elders, and the dignified manner with which him coming back home, the way it was demonstrated, certainly to those of us who were able to join that very solemn occasion at King Shaka International Airport. But I suppose, it's different strokes for different folk in as far as this is concerned. I do think that personally, I would think it's early days to get to a position where people feel a sense of closure. I don't want to comment too much about the goings on in as far as the official investigation is concerned and the work that DECO will still apprise South Africans about, because I think that that's a sensitive space that those that are competent should be commenting on. But I think that we should encourage everyone who has been affected in the way that many of us have been affected by the passing of Ambassador Mthethwa, to join all others as we go and look forward to laying and putting him in his final resting place on Sunday, and to continue to condole with the family and to continue to send prayerful thoughts to the family.
Finally, you talk about Sunday, the final resting place where he will be laid. KwaDondota, this is the stadium, we understand, the local stadium here. That's where the funeral service will be held. The understanding, based on the announcements that were made here today, that everyone ought to be seated by 9 a.m. Interesting, just moments ago, we saw a statement coming from the presidency telling us that the president will deliver the eulogy. Did that come as a surprise? Because I think there was this expectation that the president is not around, and therefore the deputy president, Paul Mashatile, who would have come back by that time, would be the one to deliver the eulogy. Absolutely
pleasant surprise. I think it also speaks to the stature of the man. It speaks to his contributions to democracy and development, his contributions to patriotism, his contributions to culture, heritage, and identity. And I think it does speak to that. It also speaks to his role as an internationalist, as we indicated when we were addressing our members here, his contributions. And I think that it is only fitting that the president will be able to deliver the eulogy.
I can't let you go away without talking about brand ANC. I know I'm literally letting you go, but a lot of what was said here, including yourself, was brand ANC and how this movement, it's on its knees. There are inquiries that are ongoing right now. You mentioned that as well. Where do you think the immediate future for the ANC is, in memory of Nathi Mthethwa, whose role, as you reminded us here today, was that of developing the ANC cadre?
You certainly were not going to let me go. That much I expected, Xoli. I think that what we did indicate here and what we continue to say is that this generation of ANC leaders, such as ourselves, we really have this unenviable responsibility to do anything and everything in our power to defend the gains of freedom, to defend the historical values of the African National Congress, to ensure that the ANC protects itself from malfeasance, from crime and corruption, and that those within and outside of the ANC, including in society, including in corporate sector corruption, those that have pilfered resources that belong to the people of South Africa, face the full might of the law, and that those elements within our ranks that are found guilty by competent authorities to have done so can do so in peace away from the ANC and allow the process of renewing the ANC to continue in an uninterrupted fashion.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Very strong words indeed. Thank you. Mahlengi Bhengu, and she is the national spokesperson of the African National Congress, but here, of course, delivering the speech in her capacity as an NEC deployee. And those strong words, Masa, talk to what Nathi Mthethwa in the ANC ranks is being remembered for, and that is that the political school of the ANC would have started under him, and people reminding here today that part of this was to imbue a culture of service, not that of self-enrichment by members of the ANC. And so almost repeating in a way what she said on the podium about the current state of the ANC nationally, and also looking at what is happening in the country in terms of the Madlanga inquiry. And you've just had today the parliamentary ad hoc committee that is again investigating the very same claims of corruption as put forward by the top cop of this very province, KwaZulu-Natal, Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi.